Okay, this podcast 4 is going to be a quick one because I've tried this like 3 times and somehow the internet keeps going off. So next time it goes off, we're just going to stop wherever it is. Okay, just a fair warning. Okay, last night we were talking about a sermon I remember Pastor Harold saying, and it was about the demoniac that lived among the tombs and he was attacking people, and Jesus comes along and he sets him free. And when he sets him free, the demons don't want to be killed, so they said, please drive us into the pigs. So Jesus drives them into the pigs jump off the cliff and they die. The townspeople were so upset. Oh my gosh, he killed our pigs. And Harold, I remember him saying, this is the issue with us as human beings. We want our problems gone, but we still want to keep the pigs. Now think about that. In areas of spirituality, is that not true? We say, I want to be more spiritual, but I want to keep my pigs. In other words, what would the pigs be? Well, I want to be more spiritual, but I don't really want to take the time to read. I'm so busy. I don't want to take the time to be quiet before God, to take that time to really hear, to press into Him. I want to be better emotionally. I really, really do. But I don't want to take the time. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to hash out old stuff. I don't want to face struggles that I've carried for years. It's just much easier to put them on a back burner to avoid them. It's just too much hard work. And then what about this one? I really want to lose weight. How many people want to lose weight? Okay, they want to lose weight, but I really don't want to stop eating things that cause the weight to go on. Alright, let's think that through. We want to keep our pigs. We say we want things, it sounds good, but do we really want that? We want it until it costs us something. And if you're ever going to have something valuable that's valuable to you, it will cost you something. It costs you time, effort, but the biggest thing that's going to cost you is self needs to go. We need to surrender. We need to surrender to the grace of Christ. We need to surrender to His movements. And we need to stop being inauthentic. I think most of us use our time of meditation as a place to create alibis for ourselves. We pat ourselves up. We say, oh God, it's just too hard. I know you'll understand, God. It just is so much time. God, I know you'll understand. It's so hard for me to stop eating those things that are killing me and giving me cancer, giving me diabetes. I know you're going to understand this, God. And absolutely God understands. But are you not just using that as a place to manufacture alibis? A place where you just continue to confront inauthenticity. God wants us to be real. The words are spirit, they are life, they are truth, and only truth is going to set us free. So one person in the group says, well, it's kind of like the pig thing. It's called pigging out. Yeah, and I said, that's a great thing. I'll use that. Pigging out is saying I want the pigs out. Want them done. They got to go. Doesn't matter what it costs. I want him done. Another person shared where he had a moment of clarity where he really looked at how he took care of himself, and he said it just kind of sickened him, his actual lack of self-care. That moment of clarity where he just said, I'm done, I'm finished. And we have to get to that place, because until you're done, you're not going to be finished, and you'll keep trying to control. You'll keep trying to do this all by yourself, and yourself hasn't got you very far. So we also talked about how people sometimes don't help us. Family members can be the worst. We're trying to eat nutritionally. We're trying to have a right use of food, an appropriate use of food, nutrition. We're really working on trying to change that paradigm of what food really was created for. It was good. It was suitable. It was pleasing to the eye. It can taste good, but we're not to be in a relationship with food. If our mouth salivates and we can't wait to get with it, be with it, get alone with it, we've crossed a line. Food is no longer nutrition to us. It is now some type of an emotional relationship, And we're not to have relationships with objects. That's the paradigm we need to be praying about. That paradigm needs to be changed as to what place food has in our life and what our attribution to food really is. It's this. Food is to fuel your body, period. It's not to meet emotional needs. It's not to decrease your anxiety, to feed your depression. It's not to avoid your pain. It's not to feel your loneliness. It's not to medicate discomfort or tension. That is not what food's used for. Last I heard or thought is that that's what we go to God for when those things happen. Or we go to another person and we talk to another person about those things. That is what God created us to be is in relationship to people. And when you think about this, Thomas Merton has a very scathing thing to say about the church. He says the church needs to face the dread that a crisis has arisen, and the crisis is that we need to have a serious confrontation with infidelity on a community level. Infidelity in which we are all implicated, in which no individual can honestly negotiate merely by denouncing others or walking out on them. He says there must be an urgent sense that we are sinners. Without His grace, we are helpless. We need to be a communal witness. There needs to be a collective human response to these issues. And I wholeheartedly agree with that, and that's why we're doing Renew You, because we're bringing together a community so that there can be a communal and a collective response to how we've treated food, how we've treated nutrition, how we have neglected the spiritual parts of ourselves, how we have not resolved emotional issues, how we've avoided things all of our lives. Maybe we didn't have the skills, maybe we didn't know how to do that. I'm not saying this to bring judgment, but I'm saying we can be in a community where we can be authentic, where we can learn about these things. And this is what we want to try to bring about. And so I want us to be thinking this week, as your challenge, I want you to think about that story about the pigs. Do you want to pig out this week? Well, pigging out in Renew You means this. What do I want spiritually, but I still want to keep the pigs? I say I want this spiritually, but I still want to keep the pigs. Identify your pigs. Identify what it is that you want to keep. Emotionally, what pigs need to go over the cliff. You want to be healthy, but pigs need to go over the cliff. Nutritionally, I want to have a healthy body weight that supports like good health. I want to be able to move about in a good way, but what pigs need to go. One of the things that we said last night that can really challenge us is that the areas where you have the most struggle will be areas of non-consent, areas where you have not consented yes to God. And this is what I want you to look at, those three areas. Where are you struggling? That's where non-consent is. That's where non-surrender is. That's where self is running the show. That's where self is still on the throne. And as long as self is on the throne, there's going to be an intense struggle, an intense battle, until there's that moment of clarity, until the person says, I'm done. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. My life is unmanageable. I cannot do this. I've tried. There's got to be someone that can help me, and that someone has to be somebody a lot bigger than I am. And so I want us to identify those three areas. Where do the pigs need to go? They need to go over the cliff. And so I want you to be very specific about that in your prayer life. And I just want to ask you on a personal level, what will you really be willing to pay for what you want? It's going to take effort. What did Jesus pay to give you what you desire? He gave all that He had. He gave us life. He died. He rose. And see, this is our problem. We want to rise, but we don't want to die first. What is it that we need to die to in our life? No resurrections without death. So I'm going to pray about that for me. I'm going to think about that in my own life. And I'm going to challenge you to think about that too. And when we come to renew you next week, we'll talk about it. And those of you who are just simply watching, for whatever reason you chose to watch our segments, we're glad about that. And I challenge you to do the same thing and maybe just find somebody that you could talk to about these areas and think about it. This would not be just about imagining you renewed. This could be a communal response, a collective response, where a small body that's coming together in that Renew You group could really be a huge impetus to change a whole bunch of people that they live around, that they worship around, that they work around. God's counting on you. I mean, you're the only one that's going to be able to get this done. I know God can send to anybody, but if you're hearing this message and you think that somebody might be you, you go after it, and you go hard after God. Those 3 areas. Get the pigs out. They need to go over the cliff. Pig out this week, okay? Thanks.